So, remember, are you a married man with 6 kids? I thought I just had to start with a bit of humour there. But as far as... Right, so anyway, continuing on from the last video left off... Sorry, start picking up where the last video left off. Chris Coleman, yeah, he came in November 2017. I think we had between Grayson's sacking and Coleman's appointment, I think we had a 1-0 defeat away at Middlesbrough and a 2-2 draw at Hunter Millwall, so yay. Right, so Chris Coleman. I think a lot of Sunderland fans, myself included, were actually fairly optimistic when we first got this guy in as the manager, because we didn't think we'd be able to get him. Sunderland should have been linked with those type of managers. Truth be told, a higher manager quality than that, because of the size of the club. We should have been in for these type of managers. But for me, Chris Coleman, I did honestly think he would keep us up. And I thought that when you look at the games he has, he started out with a 2-1 defeat at Villa, and then, which was when Pete, who you've seen on the channel before loads of times, we went to Burton Albion, we won 2-0, it was our first away league win. I was buzzing with that result. And I know and you can say, oh, well, you're buzzing with winning at Burton Albion. Well, yeah, given the situation we were in, yes, I was pretty happy with that. I did maintain that Sunderland still shouldn't have been competing where Burton were in the league, because I felt we had much better play. We should have had too many players that were too good for that level, for that portion of the championship. But December was a bit of a mixture, because actually, not to be fair, I think we lost like 2 games. We lost to Reading and we lost to Sheffield United. We then drew against Wolves and Birmingham, and then we beat Fulham and Nottingham Forest. That's the one. And in bearing in mind, the Fulham win was the one home win we got throughout the whole of 2017. And I've always maintained, apart from the 2 Manchester clubs, Tottenham and Liverpool, we didn't really see anybody that was that good. Maybe better than us, possibly, but when half your games are included in the championship, to not get a single win until near the end of the year is embarrassing. Give over. But January was the big thing for Coleman, really, where we barely had any money to spend. Lewis Grabham decided he wasn't up for the fight, couldn't be bothered, and just left. So I think our Sunderland fans are still bitter about that, and I think I've every right to be bitter about that, by the way. And then Coleman, obviously, we were scraping in the bottom end of the window. Is it bad that I still feel Coleman could have got a little bit better than what he had? If we didn't have any money whatsoever on wages, and it was more that the parent clubs were going to pay these wages, then I suppose you've got no choice but to tolerate it, basically. Look at it. Ashley Fletcher, for example, was a signing that I was really, really in for. I was really wanting him to get him. I thought he might look. I thought he was going to be someone who was going to be much better than he was, but lo and behold, as it turns out, after the January window, we just continued to plummet like a stone. We just did not look like putting anything together at all, and it just goes to show. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Sunderland fans at the minute have rightly got a level of apathy attached to the club. This season the championship season was still worse for me. There was no way that there's no way people were enjoying going to the games. I had a season card, and I was just going out of habit. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the social aspect of going, but I didn't think it was remotely enjoyable whatsoever. I just felt it was a duty to go to the games, and it got to the point as well, by the way, me, Pete and Paul go together, and we looked at each other when we were losing 2-0 at home to Preston and we were down to 10 men, about an hour gone, and we just looked at each other, and after about 60 minutes we left. Yep, I've got no shame in admitting that, we left. And I don't agree with this attitude that if you leave early, you're not a proper fan. No, that's rubbish. That's ridiculous. I think the fans had every right that season to leave early, because we were just seeing a bunch of bottlers on the pitch that weren't putting 100% in for the shirt. Some of them were. Some cared. As I mentioned before, O'Shea, Cattermole, Billy Jones. There was a couple of players there. Darren Gibson, even to a point, did care. There was just a number of them that just were there for the paycheck and there for the ride, and that was it. And that's not the attitude you need. Not what you should be having when you're a professional footballer, to be perfectly honest. But, at the end of the season, culminated in the infamous Burton Albion defeat, which, I'm not going to lie, if I had to pick the lesser of two evils, I'd rather Bent had helped send us down to League One than Mitrovic, because Mitrovic was at Fulham, but he was on loan from the Mags, and had he sent us down, we would never have heard the end of it. So, at least, if I had to pick one out of the two of them, I would much rather it was Darren Bent. But it doesn't make it. It's a slightly less mucky turd. That's it. There's nothing to it. Coleman, of course, at the end of it was sacked. whether it be by Ellis Short or by Stuart Donald, which was around when the takeover happened. You tell me what you want to do. You tell me what you want to believe. Coleman, I do still believe, even after Graben left, had enough of a squad that season to keep us in the Championship. And I know there's a few people. I've been talking to Jam Sarni, he thinks the same thing. Sean Middleton feels the same thing. And I know Dino, obviously from SFC Fan TV, thinks differently, but I don't believe it was acceptable for that squad to finish below Burton, Bolton, Barnsley, Reading, Millwall. I don't believe it was I don't think it was acceptable for that squad to finish below every team. We should have done better. I didn't expect to go up, but I certainly, definitely expected to not be in the relegation zone. Coleman, as far as he was concerned, he was a nice enough guy. He did honestly seem to get it. I know Jake Collison, who probably watching this video, hates that phrase. But I think he did, though, to be fair. I think he honestly did seem to at least understand it, but he was he was almost as clueless as Grayson was. He didn't do enough with what he had for me. And at the end of the day, could you argue, I would have probably still liked to have seen how Coleman would have done in League One, to see if he could have got the players in to get us back up and all that. But we're never going to know, are we? It's ifs, buts and maybes. The best thing to come out of Coleman, actually I was going to say in the last video, the best thing to come out of Grayson was Jam Sarni's impression of him. And Chris Coleman, the best thing to come out of that was probably his appearance on Sunderland I Die when he said, "Oi, you're calling me a so-so? You know, I'm a married man with 6 kids," which was quite funny. When that fan, for whatever reason, squared up to Coleman, and it was because we didn't hear what was said. Oh, God. There you go. But this is the last video of the the Ellis Short era in terms of revisiting Sunderland managers. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think. There's Chris Coleman, and obviously then the next time we'll get, after the game against Wolves when we won 3-0, baffling. We were able to turn up against the champions. We didn't bother to beat anyone around us. It was a new era, and we'll start with Stuart Donald, Charlie Meffin, and the next up, Jack Ross. See you later.